sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about.
But the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Cleveland, this is for you.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase.
Folks, what is going on? Welcome to a new edition of the A&I podcast. I am one half Arden Franklin.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Isaiah Smalls.
We are back with another one, new week, new pod. You already know how it goes. Thank you as always for tuning in. Love is love to the first time, to the multi-time, and to the last time listeners. Presented by FanDuel. Of course, you can find clips of the show, not only on our social media platforms, but also on the FanDuel YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. And as always, love is love. Good brother Zay, how you been doing, man? What's the word?
Hey man, I'm chilling. You know, it's been a little bit of a tough week, but you know, I got some stories in earlier this week, so I'm excited. You know, looking forward to what next week has to offer. I'm going to my first concert on Saturday for the first time in a minute.
Over
a year. Obviously, straight work, but you know, it's good to just be back out there again. You know, and actually hold the phone. I'm tripping. I'm going to the Sixers game tomorrow, baby. Sixers, Miami. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Is that for play or is that for work?
That's for play, boy. That's just like the homie saw the game and I was like, shoot, I'll fade. This might be the year. You know, this might be the year we do a little something, make some noise. So
I like that. The stories, the IG stories is gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah.
Especially if the seat's looking right. We're gonna have a lot of different close-ups with the glasses in the face. I already know the vision. I already know the vision. I'll be tuning in indeed. I've been good, man. I've been good. I can't complain. I am a fully vaccinated Pfizer poppy as of last Friday.
Yes,
God
sir.
is good.
Round of applause.
Thank you. Round of applause, because I'm also built different, 2 for 2 with no side effects from the shots. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
crazy.
I'm built different. My body
crazy.
different.
That boy JT out in Boston still using the inhalers.
Hey,
and you over here.
And I still feel sad for him, but I'm built different, bro. No league bound, but I'm built different. Some of us, all of us in life gotta have certain physical advantages, and that's one of them for me.
Sir.
But I will take this time though to tell people again, man, respect the science, get your shot. Trust me. It's really not that bad. Everybody's body's different, and I highly encourage you to get the shot, especially if you're somebody that rarely gets sick. If you rarely get sick, if you rarely have crazy side effects or delays in your recovery from whatever it is, trust me, you'll probably go through the same thing with this shot. Like, it's really not bad, bro. Of course, risk is involved, but risk is involved with a lot of different things.
Of course.
Get your shot, live life. I can't wait to be in the first room with people who are all fully vaccinated, and I get to have some time away for just a little bit. But
just a little bit.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Get your shot. Respect the science. Word to Fauci. For real.
Definitely.
Respect the science, man.
Hey,
but
I'm joining that club too, that Pfizer Poppy Club, fully vaccinated Pfizer Poppy Club next Tuesday. A little poke and I'm done, baby.
I'm telling you, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And to get into today's show, we got hot stories, man. The hottest stories that we've been paying attention to and seeing this week. A hot story for me, man, and to the A&I podcast audience is the fact that there's a legit chance that the Oakland A's could be leaving town, bro.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that?
I saw that. I
am very intrigued. Like,
wow.
The Warriors left town.
Of course.
Now the A's are possibly leaving town. The Raiders left town.
Of course. Yeah.
Warriors left town. Raiders left town. Now we're talking about the A's. If this new stadium deal doesn't go through or whatever, I'm really intrigued by that. I really am, because first town, everybody said Las Vegas. It was like, take them to Vegas.
Everybody want to go to Vegas, man.
Everybody want to go to Vegas, man. But nah, that's my hot story, because I'm really intrigued by that, because it's one of the few occurrences in sports, right? Whenever a team is either entering or leaving a town, that we start learning more about the financial aspect of cities to sports franchises and what goes into the bill and what goes into keeping the relationship intact. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's a community aspect, right? How does it affect the community? We saw that a lot with the Raiders. We saw that a lot with the Chargers out in LA. And of course, if you want to take it back to 10, 15 years ago, that's what we saw when the Supersonics were taken away from Seattle. So in the event that this A story does progress more and more and the likelihood of them leaving town only increases, I can't wait to read more of those stories. Because I got to say, most journalists, they usually pick up their pen and get to work when it comes to a story of, a team may be leaving or a town may be trying to save them. So that's my hot story of the week. You?
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure you saw that, Al Davis versus the NFL 30 for 30 joint?
Yeah.
And you got to see kind of how those dynamics play out. And to me, that was an amazing 30 for 30, one of my favorites, definitely. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking at that one, see what's popping off. I mean, I like to go local, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The news that just popped off, that Victor Oladipo, season-ending surgery on that right quad. I know that there was some hope down here that he could be that, that third scorer, secondary ball handler for the Heat. And I know that, a lot of the homies were always just like, yo, wait till Victor Oladipo comes back. Wait till Oladipo gets back. And don't get me wrong, he hasn't been that same player since he originally, tore that quad, 2019? But, I was looking forward to seeing what he could bring to the Heat. That's another team that has, championship aspirations. And I don't know. We'll see what goes on, what happens with the Heat. He only played 4 games. I think he averaged 12, 3, and 3 during that time. Didn't really get a chance to, become really part of that team when it comes to a games perspective. But, let's see what happens in the playoffs, man. I know that the Heat fans down here are super, super excited.
It's so crazy, man, how injuries really change things, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
I was watching Vic give the whole league hell during that 2018 season. Yep. I mean, he took my Cavs to 7 games. I mean, granted, a lot of folks honestly thought Indiana was going to win that series, but he was dogging.
Yeah,
he was dogging. He was a beast. So it's just terrible to see the injuries, man, just creep on cats, and I hate it.
I know. I think next year's this was a contract year for him too, I believe.
Yeah.
So I heard some rumblings that he might not even, or I read some rumblings. I think it was South Florida Sun Sentinel Ira over there saying that the Heat aren't even going to offer him that max deal, and it's unlikely that he'll find that max deal elsewhere either, just because of that injury history. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure, with the Heat, anytime they bring in a player, they always make sure that they have that mentality, that dog in a cage mentality. We just gonna work. So, I'm sure that the recovery process will be, he'll hit that, hard when it comes time. But I know just in the short term, I pray for his speedy recovery. He's not gonna obviously miss. He's obviously gonna miss this postseason, but we'll see what happens in the future, and hopefully he'll be able to get his money's worth either here or elsewhere, man. So
absolutely, man. And to the first topic of the day, this week, this week has been defined by a classic line from one of my favorite lyricists. The real is back. J. Cole back.
Yes, sir.
And in the football world, I see everybody was getting in they panties in a bunch because the GOAT's back. You feel what I'm saying? You can't stop a good man. You can't stop a good man. You can't stop the realest from the trenches of Gainesville, Florida. Tight end Tebow. Here we go. Go ahead, tell them. What's the words, Jay? What's happening, man?
So, obviously, reports came out earlier this week that the Jacksonville Jaguars intend to sign, college football legend.
Gang.
In your words, the GOAT, Tim Tebow, to a 1-year deal. But not at quarterback, though. Not at quarterback. My man's just switching positions. Tight end. Yeah. This is a pretty divisive issue in the league. I see you over there running them little curl routes and stuff. I hope you move a lot better than he does. But my thing with this was, I was kind of split initially. When I first heard the news, I was split. On one hand, you know, I see how this could affect the locker room down the road. Let's say he makes the team and there is a guy that, you know, players really liked in that locker room and, you know, he didn't make the team. I can see how that could affect the locker room dynamic because it's, at the end of the day, you know, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And obviously him and Urban go back, you know, 2 natties to their name. So I understand that. I understand why he got brought in. You know, he's a great guy, first of all. You know, really, really devoted to God, all that jazz. So I understand why they brought him in. But on the other side, and plus, you know, publicity reasons. You know what I'm saying? This is a franchise that was on the verge of moving to London, right? London. Yeah, so I understand, you know, why they would want to bring him in from a tickets perspective, you know. But on the other side, I mean, like, bro, this man is 33. Yeah. Hasn't played a game in, 9 years? Mm-hmm. Hasn't been on a roster in, 6.
True that.
I mean, it's disrespectful, first of all, to the players that have been grinding, trying to get back in the league. Obviously, you know, the number one player that comes to mind is Kaepernick, but obviously it's a totally different situation. Politics versus just a guy that just wasn't good enough to play in the league for a while. So I understand, but I don't know. My thing is, like, if he doesn't, the thing that I'm going to be looking for is in that introductory press conference, does he acknowledge the fact that he has a rare opportunity? You know what I'm saying? Like, that people like Colin Kaepernick have not had to be on an NFL team again. You know what I'm saying? Like, people grind their entire lives for this opportunity. And I don't know. To me, I think, and I love Urban Meyer, but the one thing that has always gotten Urban Meyer in trouble is he thinks he always knows what's best.
Yeah, that is true.
As he should. He
does think that is true.
His resume speaks to at least some level of success. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Some level of actually he knows what he's doing. But this move, I'm not a fan of it. You know, I personally don't. I understand what it could do from a you know, taking some of the pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. But I mean, I don't know why you would, you know, bring this back into the league when you're trying to chart a new path forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Jags have been the laughing stock of the NFL for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the image. Personally, that's not the image that I would want to bring to my squad. The fact that I'm going to bring in, you know, these guys that I have long-standing relationships with. And it already bit him in the ass once with hiring the strength coach from Iowa, who they accused of, you know, saying racially insensitive things to some of the players, man. So, I mean, time will tell whether this is a good move. And don't get me wrong, if it works, shout out then. I mean, I think what did Urban said he wasn't even at that first workout. He had people come to him and be like, yo, this kid is looking good. He looks faster. He's the best shape of his life. But we'll see. I don't know. The tight end position's a lot different than quarterback.
Absolutely.
Know? So we'll see what happens. I don't know if he'll be that guy. My guess is that if I had to guess, that he probably will make the team. But I mean, my thing is, like, why? We'll see. You know, why even bring him in? But I'm curious to know your thoughts, man.
I'm gonna be honest. All jokes aside, especially when playing about Tebow in this mode, even though I do like Tim Tebow, I was somebody that even during his initial entry into the league as a quarterback, I believed in him. I did, and felt like, you know, like, in a way, it's funny how even within a decade, well, side note, it's funny how even within a decade, right, you see how, man, certain changes that weren't available at that time suddenly becomes available. And it's like, hey, man, what if that person would have had that? And I say that about Tebow because it's like, we look at Tebow in the early 2010s being in the NFL. The NFL wasn't handling the quarterback position that we saw 4 years later or even right now, especially when it came to more leniency with athletic quarterbacks, right? Yep. Like, back then, folks was killing them about the completion percentage. Folks was killing them about the throwing motion. And I was like, look, each of those things can be true, but if a man still find a way to win games, make plays, then why not have some type of patience with him? And it's funny because you look 5 years, 10 years down the line, that's the common go-to route for a lot of athletic quarterbacks that aren't the best passers. Let's be patient. Let's use their legs, and let's just find a way to win.
Around them.
Yeah.
Like the Ravens did with Lamar. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
But I will say this, though. It's still funny seeing everybody who had this serious soliloquy, the passion, the joy, the joy in tearing this down.
Yeah.
And speaking in defense of everybody, because it's like, let's keep it funky. Yeah. Tim Tebow, in the event that it is official, he's not making it through training camp.
You don't think so?
I do not think so. He is not making it through training camp.
I hope he doesn't, but
and let me say this too, and this is gonna sound harsh. Y'all acting like this is the NBA and Tebow took one of 15 spots. Bruh, y'all know an NFL team could sign up to 90 people?
Yeah.
90. Yeah. So if a brother can't get one of 90 spots with or without Tim Tebow, I'm sorry, my dog, but football ain't for you. Okay? If all of the teams in the league can sign up to 90 players at any point of the year, okay? 53 during the regular season with, 10 to 15 practice squad spots, and you can't get one over Tebow? I don't think he's the problem. You just ain't that good enough, my dog. Sorry. Or maybe the league just don't know what they got in you. But hey, the Rockets bringing back the XFL, okay? And there's the Canadian Football League, and there's the Arena Football League. Long story short, you got options. But speaking about Tim Tebow once again, man, I understand why Urban Meyer did it. Well, does do it in the event that he goes. But for me, my thing is, I don't think he's making it through camp. I think this is going to be one of those things where it's going to come back to us, the media. Hey, you get so mad at a team for entertaining this guy, but yet who's the one that keeps the story alive? Us. Who's the one that decides to make him one of your leading topics for every morning, afternoon, and night show? Us. Yeah. Who's the one that gets paid because you want to write 2,000, 3,000 word think pieces? Us. He's not a story if you don't make him a story. Like at the end of the day, y'all made him do the story just because he likes to get on one knee and say, I love Jesus. That's what y'all made a story.
But it's more than that, though. It's more than that, though. Like it's the fact that this man has been away from the league. So like I understand where you're coming from. Like the fact that that's where a lot of the vitriol is coming from.
There's mad cats that re-enter the NFL after years away. They may not be Tim Tebow, but it's not some foreign, crazy reality. Like, hold on, dog. You away from the game for 5 years and you get back in? How many times did we see Josh Gordon re-enter the league and he was away? How many times have we seen...
That was different, though.
No. But I'm just saying, though, like, the reality of cats step away from football. Like, we've seen it on a much bigger scale with Brett Favre stepping away than coming back or entertaining. The thing is just, again, we see people re-enter the NFL after many years under crazier circumstances. Yet, media, us, don't take the time to be like, should we make this a leading story?
Mm-hmm. But I think that's the thing, though, with Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow sells tickets. Tim Tebow gets viewers. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff. But no, you're completely right. I think they were talking about Tim Tebow yesterday on, what was I watching? Undisputed for like 30 minutes, bro.
Every website, show, network was talking about this man. And it's like, dog, we're at least 24 hours removed from this. Why are you guys giving these crazy think pieces? And again, I'm sorry to the guys who have NFL dreams. But if you can't, but if you're so concerned about Tim Tebow taking a spot when a team could sign up to 90 players, it ain't Tebow. It's you or it's the team.
Yeah.
It ain't his fault. It ain't his fault that the man said, you know what? I still have a dream and I'm going to pursue it. It's not his fault. And again, I've seen dudes who've done more things that actually deserve a bigger story, especially when we're coming out of college, what Johnny Manziel did, what Baker Mayfield did, what other players did. All the man did was wore John 3:16 under his eyelids, got on a knee, gave one passionate speech, and all of a sudden the media said, yeah, that's the guy. Every time he's in the NFL, we're going to talk about him every single day. every single day.
But I understand what you're saying.
We
like,
gotta take some accountability here.
But he's
dominated
at the highest level of college football in the best conference of college football. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I think that's the reason why he gets that respect. You know what I'm saying?
But like we know in the NFL, things were incredibly different. Who kept the story alive when he was backing up Mark Sanchez? The media.
Real.
Who kept the story alive when he went to New England and didn't even have 2 cups of coffee before he got cut?
Yeah, that's real.
Last time I checked, Buddy was playing minor league baseball for a good minute. The media didn't follow him to go play minor league baseball. We wasn't getting daily Tebow updates. All of a sudden, he goes back into the National Football League. Yeah, folks want to be back on that nonsense. Come on, fellas. It's on us. We got to chill. After that initial reaction, it can't be a story.
That's real.
It can't be a story. Especially for a dude who I don't think is making it through camp, bro.
That's real.
And the event that he is indeed signed, I don't think he's making it through camp. Yeah. I don't think there's no way to keep him there. How? Unless he's that nice? No, sorry, he ain't making it through camp.
My thing is like, the only reason I think he's going to make it is because I think Urban Meyer overvalues his presence on that team. You know what I'm saying? Whatever direction he'll be able to give Trevor Lawrence, and I think that's the reason why he'll make it. Probably from a football perspective, will he deserve to make it? Probably not. To your point, but like. I just think that he's gonna make it. I just have a weird feeling in my stomach, man. Let's operate off of more than weird feelings at the pit of stomachs. But I hear you.
You want to talk about a weird feeling as we go to this next topic? You know the Green Bay Packers. They signed that guy from Jacksonville.
They did. Speaking of Jacksonville, though, that's real. I did see that earlier today. Literally just before we got on, the Packers did sign Blake Bortles. Who hasn't been in the league since 2018? I think
2018, 2019.
It's been at least a year. I know that
he's gonna be one hell of a backup to Jordan Love. I tell you that much.
So I know last week we talked about Aaron Rodgers a little bit, but this week there has been a update in the situation, specifically one involving one of the best receivers in the league, the number 1 receiver in Green Bay, Devontae Adams. Yep. He went on the Herd yesterday with Colin Cowherd, and of course the very first question out of Cowherd's mouth was, "Hey, this Rodgers stuff, what is that going to do to you?" And his response, and I'll read it in full, was the following: potentially, that's my guy. That's the only guy that I've had other than that 2017 season when he got hurt. That's the only guy that I've played with. We built up a special connection over the years that has put us both in really good positions in our career. Not that he needed me to, come along, because he was already in that spot, but we've established a lot together. Mm-hmm. So, Adams, he signed through the 2021 season. 2022, he will be a free agent. If you're the Packers, what are you going to do? I'm going to ask you this question. What are you doing? How are you reading this? The fact that your number 1 receiver said that I will have to, kind of do some thinking about whether or not Green Bay is the right situation for me if Rodgers, gets out of here and heads to Denver or wherever these other places he's been linked to.
Absolutely. Speaking of other places he's been linked to, it's time to reference some odds here, some numbers from the number 1 sports book. From the number 1 sports book in the land, FanDuel Sportsbook. So according to them, right? And again, folks, odds change very frequently, all right? But according to FanDuel Sportsbook, when it comes to the team Aaron Rodgers is most likely to take his next snap, right now they have Green Bay with the best odds at under 170. But second was the team that I pitched to you guys last week, the Denver Broncos at plus 220. The third closest team are the Las Vegas Raiders at plus 600. For some weird reason, there's the Cleveland Browns fourth with plus 1,200.
I did hear about that, yeah.
And then there's a 3-way tie for teams who I do not expect to even entertain a Rodgers trade. San Francisco, New Orleans Saints, and New England at plus 2,000. Maybe New Orleans, but I doubt it because of the money that is tied between Jameis and Taysom Hill. But if you're the Green Bay Packers, what do? You take this very seriously. you take this very, very seriously. And I get it if you're the Packers, right? Again, like you said, Zay, Devontae Adams is signed through 2022, right? Of course, there's a franchise tag. So
2021.
2021? Okay.
He's a free agent 2022.
Okay, so after this next season.
Yes.
Okay,
after
so
this season, yeah.
So you can franchise tag him. So you basically have 2 years instead of 1. But with that said, though, if you have an unhappy camper, right, especially if he plays through this season and the numbers drop because, A12 isn't in town, you got to think about the ramifications of A, what could we get for him if we trade him sooner than later? B, public perception, especially across the league, in that, again, your stars or your 2 biggest stars are wanting their way out of this. And lastly, it's just a matter of, again, right? Like if you're a team that is looking at their situation and realizing like, hey, we're going from NFC title contender to potentially rebuilding if we let these 2 go, we need picks. We need a clean slate as soon as possible. So I definitely say that the Packers have to take this seriously. You absolutely have to. And you need to make sure that your conversations with Adams are handled in the best way possible. It needs to be completely transparent and honest. Do not tell this man things that you cannot guarantee. You just can't. Dude, don't talk to him and be like, yo, motherfucking Aaron's coming back. Oh, we gonna give you a bag. Like, you got to be completely transparent with him and understand that as much as this is an employer to employee conversation, you guys are essentially partners at the end of the day. No matter what, like, you're partners in this. And if he's feeling unhappy and that starts to get out there, trust me, you have to take care of this, especially in the event that he's already saying, like you said in that quote, like he has to think about it. He has to evaluate. It ain't like he said, like, yo, as much as I want Aaron back, I'm committed to the Green Bay Packers and I'm going to make this work. The man said, I have to think about this and I have to watch this play out. Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think you brought up a good point there. My thing is, if I'm the Packers GM, after I heard that, I think that was, he told Coward that on Monday. Maybe minutes after he got off there, I'm calling him up and saying, what, will it take for us to get this deal done? I want him to be, I want a contract extension immediately, because my thing is, like, you are going to be, and then, like you said, you have to make promises, and you have to make promises. You can't make promises, that you can't keep. And so my number one promise that I know that I can keep is that, 1, we will give you a bag, obviously, and 2, you have to be a leader in this locker room now. This now is your team. Jordan Love will have his growing pains. He didn't have a training camp last year. This year, finally, they'll be able to see him play prior to the actual season starts. So Devontae Adams will be able to get a good look at him. But I think you tell him, hey, your team is already falling apart. First of all, like the fact that your quarterback, your MVP, the reigning MVP, wants to lead your team shows you that your team is falling apart. But in an attempt to get it back together, you have to make sure that your other guy is good and has no qualms about staying. You want to make sure that he's going to be a Green Bay Packer for at least the next 3 to 4 years. Because at that point, with him solidified, you can now go to Jordan Love and be like, yo, he's going to, that's going to be the guy. You are obviously or hopefully going to be our starting quarterback in the very near future. Start building that connection with him. That's the thing that I think made Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers unique. Like, they had one of those special connections that is rare in the NFL for a receiver, a top receiver, and a top quarterback to have that special connection. That's what you want. I shouldn't say it's rare, but that's ideally what you want from at your offense for your offense. Excuse me. So I think you got to start building that. You got to make sure that they start building that, Jordan Love and Devontae, if you want him to stay. But if you're comfortable going full blown rebuilds, you're right. Get as many picks as possible, because that's the only thing that's going to save y'all from being at the bottom of the league. I think you already are going to fall to the bottom of the league with Aaron gone, but in an attempt to kind of salvage some level of respect among the league, lock up Devontae. If you can't, get picks for him, get picks for Aaron, and let's go. And to your point about you said you were surprised about the Cleveland Browns. I wasn't, I
Really?
was kind of surprised when I first saw it. I was like, Cleveland Browns. But then I thought about it. You know, you're getting a number 1 pick in Baker Mayfield, who had a better year last year. Wasn't spectacular, but he had a much better year last year. And the appeal for Aaron Rodgers is that they do have a pretty solid offense. Nick Chubb, I think Kareem Hunt is still there. Obviously OBJ, Jarvis Landry, like that. To me, outside of the Denver Broncos,
Cleveland.
I might even say that Cleveland might be a little bit more attractive.
Yeah, it is. I guess it just surprised me because it's just like, I know, of course, obviously Aaron Rodgers is better, but it's just like, do you really want to, unless you feel like you really could win a Super Bowl, I don't see why you would want to do that trade. Unless you truly believe in your heart of hearts. And I think that's something that's a very big deal when folks talk about mega trades, especially when folks have talked about the quarterbacks, right? When Russell Wilson was under the microscope for potential trades, right? Deshaun Watson before his madness, Aaron Rodgers now, right? It's like, yo, you're not trading all you're trading for these guys just for the sake of repeating the same success or to be a little better. You think you're going to take the whole thing home. So, of course, for Cleveland to have the 4th highest odds, it's all right. If Cleveland was to entertain this, or if there are some tea leaves to be read about the Cleveland Browns maybe trading for Aaron Rodgers, do you really believe that you're this close to winning a Super Bowl and that you're better served going with A-Rod than Baker Mayfield? Because to me, if that's not completely across the board with the organization, I'm sorry, I'm going with Baker over Aaron.
No,
because
I think I'm not the biggest fan of Baker Mayfield. I was coming into the league. I thought he was like super bold. To me, like, even though I hated watching him, you know, carve up Ohio State, you know, however many years back it was, but like he low key like earned my respect when he planted the flag in the middle. I was like, oh, you got some cojones, my guy. So like, after that, I was like, all right, cool. But like at the NFL, he really hasn't delivered. You know, at that level, he really hasn't delivered. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's good for a few good games here and there. But like at the end of the day, it's about championships. Like and this probably isn't the best comparison, but like look at what Pat Mahomes has done, you know, in Kansas City versus what Baker has done. You know, I don't know. Even last year with all the weapons he had, they still weren't super great. Of course, OBJ getting injured kind of messed them up a little bit, but like,
yeah, it took us some time.
It just was like, their identity right now is just a running team, which to me is kind of surprising considering that they have, they had OBJ obviously before the injury, and they have Jarvis Landry. Like, why can't you sling that rock a little bit? Why? Quarterback, and I think Aaron Rodgers would be a significant enough upgrade to that squad for them to entertain, you know, bringing them in. But
absolutely.
But
next topic. You guys already know what it is. One of our favorite segments.
Of course.
That's right. He, or parentheses, she can't play, is on deck. The segment in which we tell you guys, man, who has caught our attention for the wrong reasons. And for me to start this off, it's very quick. I am going with those Boston Celtics. Jesus Christ, man. I can't believe what has happened with this team. They're going to be in the play-in tournament. There's no ands, ifs, buts about it. They're currently in the 7th seed. They're 3 games behind the New York Knicks for the 6th seed. I don't see them catching the Knicks. Side note, this season has been so different to the point where now I'm looking at the Knicks going, you know what? I'll be disappointed if you somehow fall in the play-in tournament because that shouldn't even be happening. That's how weird the season has been. But the Boston Celtics, I got to say, man, they can't play. I know they've had some bad luck with injuries, but this is not the season you want when being a team who was already facing the possibility of maybe breaking things up because you've gotten close too many times. How many times have we seen the C's make it to the semifinals or the conference finals and they lose? And people constantly over and over be like, oh, we got all this young talent. Oh, we're going to do this and that. God knows how many times we've had to freaking hear the Celtics' names being big star trades that never materialized.
Never.
If you're the C's as much as you could look at the season as a wash, because again, Kemba's battling injuries. Jaylen Brown ultimately lost for the season. Side note, wish you a very speedy recovery, my brother.
Of course.
But
JB.
Come on, man. We're looking at the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference is different. Brooklyn Nets are here to stay. The Sixers are here to stay. The Bucks are here to stay. The Knicks could very well be here to stay. The Hawks could very well be here to stay. The Charlotte Hornets are in the building. Washington, right? They may be in the play-in tournament, but they've been balling like crazy for the last month and some change. What if they make some minimal changes in the offseason that's just enough to get them in the top 8 to top 6 talks? If you're the Boston Celtics, you can't take for granted anymore your place within the Eastern Conference. Heck, I forgot to mention Miami.
Of course,
the East is getting better and better. So if you're the Celtics, and I've seen some fans say this, and I'm not here to slander the fans, but y'all can't look at this as just a wash season and think everything is going to be Gucci. If the East progresses the way that it does next season, the Celtics will probably be headed towards the play-in tournament again. Honestly speaking, and at that point, you should be thankful that the play-in tournament will exist. Because I can see them being in a position where, again, if we already have the Brooklyns, the Milwaukees, the Phillies, the New Yorks, Miami, those Charlotte, like, we know at least 3 of those teams are taking up the top 3 seeds, and everything is locked up within that. So if we're talking about battling from 4 through 8 or 4 through 10, and it's going to be a dogfight, all I got to say is this, man. In the NBA, out of all places, there's one place you don't want to be, and that's in the middle. And I look at the Boston Celtics as a team that's in the middle, and because they're in the middle, they are in deep trouble. That's who I got this week.
But and the thing about that is it's crazy because they really should not be in the middle. I don't know what it is. I've watched them a lot this year. This was like the first time the Sixers has swept them since Ivy carried us to the finals, 0-1. So to me it was so surprising because JB took that step this year, and I know that Jason was there dealing with COVID, and he's still dealing with the after effects of that. And so I understand that you mentioned Kemba, but they shouldn't have been this bad, simple and plain. I think we might have, and I don't even think that that's a correct characterization of it. I heard a lot of people say that the loss of Gordon Hayward was bigger than people expected. I'm like, for real? But maybe I don't think it's that simple. I don't know what's going on.
I still don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think he's just been a better fit for Charlotte. But I ain't gonna lie, I haven't really heard his name spoken much in Charlotte in recent weeks.
He's been hurt. He's been hurt.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He hasn't played in a very long time. Yeah. He's been hurt. So figure it out, Celtics. He or she can't play. It's actually a moment that should have been good, and it actually involves Russell Westbrook, actually, So first of all, shout out Russ for Passing Big O
Big time.
For the most triple doubles in NBA history, 182 and counting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Big congrats. That's dope. Super dope. We talked about Russ last week, and definitely shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. One of those great players in today's league. But I don't know if you saw the ending of that game, but to me that was my he or she can't play because it was a classic Russ moment. I'm talking they get a strip. Russ has the ball crossing half court. 6 seconds left on the clock. I'm thinking, hey, go to the basket. Go to the basket. Go to the basket. Bro, there is Trae Young and Kevin Huerter in front of you. You can get to the cup. This is easy. My man pulls up for the 3 to end the game with 3 seconds and some change.
Sounds like
you had more than enough time to get to the cup. And the thing was, when I watched the replay, I saw him slowing down. I'm like, yo, bro. And it should have been, and they lost by 1, first of all. So he didn't even need to take the 3. Mm-hmm. It was, bro, go to the cup, get your 2, get fouled, something. Bro, you are a 31% 3-point shooter. Excuse me. There's no reason. Don't get me wrong. I understand he was 3 for 6, I think, before taking that shot. But, bro, that's not how you want to end the game. You're not a jump shooter. And I understand that in today's NBA, that pull-up 3 looks so nice to end the game. Oh, my God, that looks so nice. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's about winning. Yeah. Winning. And don't get me wrong, Bradley Beal wasn't there. So the fact that they were actually even, that it was even close is just a testament to Russ's ability to just really put a team on his back.
Absolutely.
I mean, still finished with 28 points, 13 boards, 21 assists, and only 3 turnovers. So if that's going to be, but like, my thing is like, bro, like, go win the game. Go win the game. I'm sure you're tired, but get to the cup. There is no one stopping you. You literally were ahead of everybody else. Get to the cup. And I just think, and of course Russ can play, but that was why he or she can't play more, because it's like one of those same issues that we continually have with Russ, bro. It's the shot selection. Yeah. Turnovers in the shot selection, and then his vision. His vision isn't always the best. But like, bro, don't shoot the ball to end the game, Russell Westbrook. Please go to the cup, especially when you're down 1. Get to the basket. It's transition too. Like, I'm done, because it gets me flustered, bro. I was calling the homies as soon as I saw that, bro, because I'm like, bro, what is this? And it's funny because like on a night that we should have been celebrating Russ, and we did celebrate Russ. I was super excited for Russ, but at the same time, like, it was just a classic Russell Westbrook moment, man. Like, just not making the right decision with the ball in his hands when it matters most. So
that pull up jumper by him is just as expected as him getting to the cup.
Exactly.
I remember not being surprised at that. Like, of course, you think, oh, he'll get to the cup, but I remember just going like, I could see him pulling up.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised until after he took the shot, bro.
Yeah, especially because if he's going full speed at somebody and they're backing up, he's thinking, oh, I'm definitely going to pull it right now. They backing up. This is the look. So I'm not surprised by that at all.
It's not the look, though. You hope for better, you know what I'm saying? Like, you hope that, like, in one of these moments where, like, he's going to be getting his flowers at the end of this game. But I also want him to get the win, too, because I know that it was one of those matchups that had playoff or play-in tournament, implications. Of course, the Wizards still going to be there, but still, bro, like, you guys have been on an upward trajectory recently. Like, I don't want a Russell Westbrook bad shot by Russell Westbrook kind of to end the game, man. Like, that's just not it. I'd much rather see him take it to the cup. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. Speaking of playing tournament,
you want to
go ahead? Go ahead.
Just because I was excited. I'm very excited for this playing tournament. As you can see, I'm over here cutting you off, bro. But the playing tournament, is scheduled to start next week, and I wanted to give us a little bit. The actual topic we're going to be talking about whether the Lakers should stay at that 7th seed or try to move up. But before, we give our thoughts on that topic, I kind of wanted to take a moment to explain the play-in tournament.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Because that wasn't something that I knew until I read about it the other day. So, play-in tournament. We all know 7 through 10, you're not technically in the playoffs. You are in the play-in tournament. It's not counted a playoff berth until you get out of the play-in tournament. So, this is what the play-in tournament is. 7 and 8 seed are going to play. 9 and 10 seed are going to play. Winner of 7 and 8, you're the 7th seed. The loser has to play the winner of the 9 and 10 matchup. Whoever loses the 9 and 10 matchup, you're out of the playoffs. See you in the lottery. And then, the winner of those 2 games, the loser of the 7-8, the winner of 9-10, they go to the playoffs in that 8th spot. And so now the question is, should the Lakers try to move up or should they stay in that 7th spot? My thoughts real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
The Lakers, don't get me wrong. You don't want to be in the play-in tournament. We've heard LeBron James talk about the play-in tournament. It's not an ideal position for a 30-plus aging superstar. Year 18. That's not a good position for him to have to play an extra game, potentially even 2 extra games. But, the reality is that's more than likely where they're going to be. And, I'm looking at the standings the other day. I think that's not a bad position. Don't get me wrong. Steph Curry, that's, if the season ended today, they would play Golden State for that 7th spot.
I got my popcorn ready.
Yeah, Steph Curry is going to put on a show, bro. He's going to put on a show. So, of course, you don't want to be in this position, but I'm assuming that they're going to get out of the play-in tournament. I do not see the Lakers, even if they lose to Steph, I do not see them losing to
another one,
either Memphis or I think
San Antonio.
Yes, I don't see them losing, even if Greg Popovich is an amazing coach. I just don't see LeBron James and Anthony Davis falling in the play-in tournament. And so that brings me to, okay, who are they going to play when they get out of the play-in tournament? Right now, if they, win that first 7-8 game, they're going to be playing Phoenix. And we saw what AD did to Phoenix the other night. 42. I'm not really scared of Phoenix. I love Chris Paul, love him. Devin Booker's stud. DeAndre Ayton is, one of the best young big men in this league. I'm not scared of them. I just don't think that they can guard AD. We saw that they cannot guard AD. And a LeBron James who is locked in, rested, healed. Obviously, he might not be at 100%, but I'm taking LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the rest of that championship roster over the Phoenix Suns. And God forbid they lose to the Dubs, go play the winner of the 9-10. If they when they win that one, they're going to be playing the Jazz. And the Jazz are dealing with injuries too. And I'm going to be honest, they might be the number 1 seed, but the Jazz also don't put any fear in my heart. So I say all that to say, I think that they're okay. They're okay because at that 6th spot, they're playing the Clippers. And I don't think they want to see the Clippers right now. I wouldn't want to see the Clippers right now. The Clippers are a much different team than they were last year. I think they've been able to play a little bit more together, them being PG and Kawhi. So they've been able to gel a little bit. Coaching change, obviously, has done them wonders. And I think that they just have they're locked in this year. They realize that they messed up last year and that, this team could be totally written off if they don't perform in this year's playoffs. So my thing is Lakers, hey, you're comfortable. Is this the ideal situation? No. But LeBron hasn't played the second half of the season, really. So, this is the situation you guys find yourself in. Don't fret. Focus on the Dubs. Focus on actually winning out the rest of the season. Then focus on the Dubs. God forbid you lose. Focus on the winner of that 9-10. And you guys are going to be in a better position than a first-round matchup with the Clippers, man. You don't want that smoke that early. Let's save that for the Western Conference Finals, Western Conference Semifinals, bro. You don't want that smoke that early.
It's so funny because I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, yo, what if Bron and them won a chip after being in the play-in tournament? And it's funny because when you do look at their situation, like you said, truth of the matter is they would be in a better position staying at 7.
Exactly.
Now it's tough because they're only a game behind Dallas. Mm-hmm. They're only a game behind Dallas and a game and a half up on Golden State. But the thing is like you said so beautifully, Utah and Phoenix don't strike any fear into anybody's hearts. That's the number 1 and 2 seed. You respect them, but there isn't a sense of finality to damn, we're facing these teams. We're out in the first round. Mm-hmm. You still look at these teams they are very beatable. I think the fan bases of either team, if they face the Lakers, would be damn, we're facing the Lakers. Exactly. Yeah, you can still feel confident, but it's dog, that's kind of crazy. We're facing the Lakers right now.
Exactly.
Versus in the 2nd or 3rd round. But just to give some numbers too, right? Because it's funny because as NBA Twitter and media and fans have been going crazy about the Lakers and their title chances, according to the odds that are, of course, given once again by the number 1 sports book in the world, FanDuel Sportsbook, according to them, even though, again, these odds do change, not much has changed when it comes to how people feel about the Lakers' chances of winning a championship. They have, and I kid you not, Isaiah, the 2nd highest odds of winning a championship still at plus 550 behind the Brooklyn Nets, who are plus 210, right? So we got to think about that. So they have the 2nd highest odds, which means they're ahead of the Clippers, they're ahead of the Jazz, they're ahead of the Bucks, they're ahead of the Sixers, they're ahead of the Suns, and all these other teams. And when it comes to, making it out the Western Conference, the Lakers actually have the best odds still, plus 260. Plus 260. So there's something to be said about the fact that, again, folks, even with their struggles, even with how well everybody else has been playing, folks are still of the belief that, hey, LeBron James, AD, postseason, 1 game, 7 games, they're rolling with them, and I can't blame them. And it's crazy because, again, before I pass it back to you, staying at 7 and getting Phoenix would be ideal. And then from there, you're facing a winner, I think, of 3 or 6. So you're either getting the Clippers or you're getting Dallas. If it stays, because we got to remember, Denver's only a game behind the Clippers.
I think. Wait. What did they play the winner of? Is I thought they played the winner of 4 or 5. Am I wrong?
No, the winner of 1 and 8 faces the winner of 4 and 5.
4.
The winner of 2 and 7 faces the winner of 3 and 6.
Yes, you're correct because they're the number 2 seed. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, my fault.
Yeah. Because in the brackets on each side, it's 1 versus 8, 4 versus 5, 3 versus 6, 2 versus 7. That's usually the set. Yeah. So if you're the Lakers, you think, okay, you're at 7, you win the playing game, face Phoenix. Okay, you can live with that. If you go into the second round, that means the winner of that 3 and 6 slot will be either the Clippers, Denver, Portland, or Dallas. You beat 2 of those teams in the postseason last year. The Clippers you've beaten before. Mm-hmm. And it's really just a matter of health. And I'll put this out there, and this might be a hot take. It wouldn't surprise me if somehow, some way, if the Lakers really turn it on, they've run through the first 2 rounds if they win the play-in. That's a hot take, but I can see that because the playoffs get weird. But I've seen LeBron and those guys do plenty of weird things before. It wouldn't surprise me. It
does. I'm not gonna go that far yet. I think the Clippers are hungrier this year. They're more hungrier than they were last year, 100%. So I think they want that Lakers matchup. I think they're hungry for that one this year. And so I don't think it'll be as easy as you're making it seem.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. It definitely shouldn't be. I don't think it will be. So
it shouldn't. We still need answers for that. The streets need to see what's up.
That's real. I think that. But my thing is, I think this year is the answer. We'll figure it out. We'll see. I personally would take a healthy Lakers squad over the Clippers. And I'm sure you would as well. But as you said, it's all going to depend on the health of LeBron, Flocka James, man. It lies on his shoulders.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. As long as the Lakers make the playoffs, I'm still living and dying with my pick of them repeating. That's just the honest truth.
I agree with you.
Until the very end, I'm still going with that pick, bro.
I agree with you up until they got James Harden. The Nets got James Harden. And I was like, oof. I
never folded. I'm standing.
I was 100%. Now I have a little bit of inkling of doubt because I think, KD wants to prove himself as well. Don't get me wrong. Like I would have rather have seen a Nets Lakers matchup with no Harden. But obviously, that's not a possibility. I think Harden is going to be back. I think tonight. Reportedly Wednesday night is going to be his first game back. So I don't know. We'll see. If I had to gun to my head, I'm gonna. If I had to make my pick right now for the finals, I think I'd say the Nets. I think so. But again, that relies. I'm gonna have to watch them, and I want to see how they're gelling too. Because I think, as we saw last year, last year with the Clippers, you can't just mash these players together and just say, all right, go win me a championship. You know what I'm saying? There has to be some level of gelling. You have to be able to know where your teammate is going to be if I pass that ball. If I, you know what I'm saying? Like there's some level of I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? They have to understand each other before they can go out and go play basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I don't know if they've had enough time, the Nets I'm speaking, with all 3 of them healthy in the lineup to gel. So that would be my only hesitation about picking the Nets. So we'll see.
I'm going down with the Titanic.
Yeah.
I'm going down with it if that's the case. That's the case. Before we end the show today, Basketball Hall of Fame, it's happening. You know what I'm saying? And in Springfield. I've actually been to the Basketball Hall of Fame, man. It was really good.
Wow.
Being there
I need
before.
to make my way out there.
Yeah, you should, man. It's a nice trip. It's a nice experience. So I on behalf of us, want to extend our congratulations to the inductees, the late Kobe, Tim Duncan, KG, and everybody else in that class. Well-deserved, super duper impactful, influential on our basketball lives. And I know it's going to be a really great ceremony. Of course, I know there's going to be a lot of joy, a lot of tears during the induction, especially for Kobe. Vanessa Bryant, his widow, will be joined by Michael Jordan. So I'll definitely be tuning in, seeing what's up with that. But yeah, man, I want to congratulate these guys, man, for real, no matter what. First ballot always made sense. So for real, congratulations to those guys. That's all I got.
Definitely. I kind of wanted, because we're going to use this, in lieu of our normal MVP segment, we're going to talk about something a little bit higher. My question that I wanted to kind of, extend to you is, what's your, of the Tim Duncan, of the KG, and, the Kobe, those are, the three high, the biggest names on that on that induction list. What's your favorite memory, man, of either of them? You can either go one by one or...
Favorite memory? I think easy would be, I must go with Tim Duncan. My easiest memory of Tim Duncan was learning how to shoot his off the glass jumper. As a kid, like playing ball as a kid. I'm not gonna make it sound like I was super duper nice, but I was competitive. I can play. And I had a thing for picking up on a lot of my favorite players' best moves. So I remember as a kid, I was shooting MJ fadeaways. As a kid, I was shooting Shaq's one-hand hook and all of these different moves. Like I even picked up on Dirk's one-legged fadeaway. And I remember being so intrigued by watching Tim Duncan in this off-the-glass shot. I'm like, yo, bro, how do you shoot this damn shot? And once I learned it, I'm like, oh, this is a cheat code. Yeah. This is a cheat code. So that's my favorite memory of Tim Duncan. For KG, I would say it was watching him when Game 7 of the 2004 Western Conference semifinals against the Sacramento Kings, against C-Web and them. This was May of 2004. KG and I are, May babies. I think KG's birthday is like right around mine. Mine is the 21st, so he's like right around my area. And he played one heck of a game that day. I think he had like 32 points, 21 rebounds. He had some really big shots and led the T-Wolves to the conference finals. And for Kobe, I would say it was definitely watching his younger self, like Afro Kobe, number 8 with the fro. There was something really refreshing about watching him play. I don't have a distinct memory, but it was just watching him play, man. And it's something that as time has gone on, I've been really happy that folks have given younger Kobe his flowers because, yes, Shaq was a bad man without question. But young Kobe, 21-year-old Kobe doing what he was doing alongside Shaq, and it wasn't just old word, he was hopeful. That man was having series and stretches where he was averaging 30 a game, hitting big shots as somebody that was just 5 years out of high school, 6 years out of high school with the fro, battling against Reggie Miller and those guys, battling against AI, VC, Tracy, like you name it. Kobe was dogging him and doing his thing. So that for me was my favorite memory of him. And honestly, that was also my favorite memory of all of those guys, man. Early 2000s was a special time. Definitely. My basketball memory doesn't go back that far. I think my basketball memory, like, for some reason, well, I know why, but it's not for You're a young boy.
Yeah, I'm a little bit younger than you. So my favorite memory out of all three of them, it has to be, Kobe's final game. I remember because I think you had that night in 2016, you had to choose between the Golden State going for the 73-9 or Kobe's final game. Like, bro, Kobe's final game, I just want to see, what goes down. But just for me, I just remember the electricity in that room. I was there with 6 of my homeboys and I think my girlfriend at the time. And, we were just like every bucket just standing up, clapping, every single time he took a three and made it, just, especially in those final moments when he's like, all right, let me put the team on. It's time to go get this joint. For me, that was super refreshing because it was like, this was you don't have that moment. A lot of guys don't have that moment, especially at his age, to be able to go out on top. Obviously, it wasn't on top. You would want him to the championship best game, like a Michael Jordan game, game 6 joint. But for me as a basketball fan, it just was amazing to see him get his flowers at that moment, because it's like
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, you can't take that away from him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that final game, bro, a 60 piece, bro. Like
60
just,
piece.
Come on now.
Those final few minutes, I like. Of course, all of us watch YouTube, but I watch YouTube every day. I got the subscription so that I could play videos and just walk and cut my phone off and hear it play in the background.
Yeah.
I have replayed Kobe's last game way too many times just so I could watch the fourth quarter or listen to the fourth quarter, because it was magical.
It was
bucket after bucket, and like
really
everybody in the crowd just being like, "What in the world is going on?" Like, he's barely getting off the ground, bro, and he's swishing them joints. Like, it was crazy. And you see the family on the side; they're looking like, "Oh my god!" Like, we hadn't seen this before, or we hadn't seen this in a long time since he was like. That wasn't Kobe. That was the Mamba. Like, they've seen Kobe play, but they hadn't seen the Mamba like that. You know what I mean? So, but it was really, that was a moment. If I had more favorite memories to share, that's certainly up there. But that's a great memory. Yeah,
that's just my favorite moment out of all of them. For, you know, personally, like Tim Duncan and KG. Like I obviously watch Celtics KG a lot. But like, to me, like my memories around them are more like painful, because like they, you know, with KG, it was, you know, killing LeBron, you know. So it's up until, you know, LeBron finally got his revenge when he went to Miami. But like, those are my memories, especially and Tim Duncan too, you know, with LeBron and both in Miami and in Cleveland too. Yeah. Like them just torturing my favorite player just. It's more painful. I don't really want to go into those. So like,
I seen quite a few of those. You know, I was there, you know, front and center as a Cavs fan. I saw KG be a part of that team that sent LeBron out a couple times. Yeah. I seen Duncan do what he did to us in 2007. But I think I'm happy that, again, like, more fans, media are taking the time to really appreciate what we saw, especially from KG and Tim, you know, like what they did for such a long time, especially Tim till the end, super duper productive, winning. Like, that doesn't happen often. Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. So definitely shout out to them, especially Tim Duncan, you know, being a Wake Forest kid. Shout out Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That's where my family from. Wake Forest. Yo, it's crazy, bro. Like, I remember talking to my girl and a few others, and they were looking at me weird that I knew Winston-Salem. I'm like, you never heard of Wake Forest? Like, they was like, oh, that's because you know sports. But I'm like, it's actually one of the bigger cities in North Carolina. And Wake Forest is a huge university. I'm like, so what if I know it because of sports? And don't blame me because Tim Duncan and Chris Paul introduced Wake Forest to me. Like, that's real. You how you don't know Wake Forest? Like, how you don't know Winston-Salem? Like, come on. Shout out Winston, man. Big Winston vibes. Wake Forest, aren't their team name, what is it? The Fighting what? It's the Demon Deacons. Demon Deacons, okay. Yeah. Like, I don't know about them Demon Deacons, man. I don't know about them boys. For real. Definitely. But folks, that is the latest edition of the A&I podcast. Thank you once again, as always, for listening to us. Once again, you can follow us on social media. Find us, follow, say hello. You can find clips of the show not only on our personal A&I podcast page, but clips that will be clipped by FanDuel on their page. Make sure you also check out FanDuel. Isaiah, any final words before we sign off? Nah, man, just enjoy y'all week. Definitely get that Pfizer poke that Arden was talking about. You know? Yes, sir. Do your thing. You can follow me on Twitter at St. Claude II. That's StClaudei. Arden, let me pass it back to you. Peace out, y'all. Be safe. Holla.